their bus was gonna overturn.
Yeah,
They're gonna
but this is
die.
the thing now. We could wonder now what is going to happen because even though Dexter shows him he's all depressed and he's, he's
Maybe
got
they'll
some
make
new
us.
name now and all this stuff, he
Maybe they'll
could
make
still
some.
track them down at any point he
They'll make some
wants. He
shitty
knows Hannah's
Dexter
name.
movie.
What?
They'll make some shitty Dexter movie. His whole point is that he doesn't want to poison anybody else's life
Yeah, I
anymore.
know, but in like 2 years he might realize he's being a baby and go find them.
What I understand is the same shit happened with Deborah 4 seasons before, where she gets shot, and he didn't come to the conclusion that everybody he's attached to gets
Well, he's come to
destroyed.
that conclusion like 10 times, but this time he actually finally ended it.
Yeah, I don't care
And he
anymore.
even says that he feels emotions now and he hates it, so he's gonna go back to not. So now he's like
Right, but I
numb
guess
and
basically what he's doing now is torturing himself, which doesn't make any sense. He could just fucking kill himself. There's no point. He's just living to exist.
well,
He's not
I
gonna
mean,
kill
isn't that
people.
what everyone kind of does
For
in a
that,
way?
go
That's
to,
what he was doing before.
for that, he can just go to jail. What the fuck is he doing? Somebody said instead of killing people, now he's just killing trees. And
Yeah, but maybe he will kill people. I mean, I think what would have been smart is if they had like a very distant, blurry Harry in the background of his cabin or something.
or Vogel, the original showrunner. Oh
Just
god,
so you could see that like the possibility of him picking up his life again will happen.
the guy who originally ran the show, I forget his name, Clyde something or whatever. He said that his original ending was Dexter waking up, and it was going to be like, oh, was this like all a dream? But he was waking up to at the the lethal injection,
Oh, okay.
and he was waking up there, or either it was electrocution chair, or whatever the fuck it is. The
No,
electric
it's an
chair.
electrician chair.
That's what it is. They teach
They
him.
teach you. They
They
how
make
to
you
become an
apprentice while
electrician.
you're sitting down. No, and then he'll look at the witnesses through the window, and it would be everybody that got killed on the show. Kind of like your idea that you thought
Yeah, I
before.
think that would be awesome,
But
but
they didn't
I
work with
don't
it.
know. I
They
mean,
went with this one.
this wasn't as good as what I was hoping for, but I wouldn't say it was terrible either.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something about. I feel very like sad about it.
What do you
Like,
think of
very
Dexter with a
defeated.
beard? Sexy?
I'm sure he could pull it off like a fucking mask. That's how terrible it looked. It looked pretty bad. It was you hear how I'm talking in this episode. It's just like who
Yeah, you're
cares?
angry. What
I'm
do
not
you
angry.
give
I'm
this
just
episode
disappointed.
as a
Sad.
rating?
This episode alone, I'll give it five, 5.5, maybe 6 out of 10.
What's your rating?
5.5 or 6 out of 10. Um, leaving your child with a woman you've only known for about 5 or 6 months to take care of him while you fake your own death and stare at walls with a big mustache and beard.
Okay, I'm gonna give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. Um, 7.5 out of 10.
It's pretty good, Danny.
I wanted to use the beard one. 7.5 out of 10. Growing a big lumberjack beard and killing lumberjack bad guys for the rest of your life.
He's not gonna kill anybody though. That's the whole
He
point.
might. Eventually,
Nah.
he will. He will.
Nah, he's probably gonna blow lumberjacks now. So for the whole season, I'll give this like a 3 or a 4 out of 15 this
Oh,
season.
come
of Dexter.
on.
It was a strong season last season, and then it went to this. So this is at least got to be a 4 out of 10 for me, or 5 out of 10 this season
Okay.
of
I'm gonna give-
Desmond Harrington's jawline and cheekbones
I'm
trying
going to
to
give
escape
this
his face.
season a 7.5 again
Wow.
out of 10. Old British ladies having their necks opened up like vaginas by their hipster sons.
Oh,
And
man. So you
the
wanted
whole show, the show as a whole, every season.
as a whole.
Yeah.
It was good for the first 4 seasons. I'll give him that.
What are you gonna give the whole season, the whole show? You said you like season 7,
Including this season.
including every season.
But you gotta understand that 5 and 6 were so horrendously bad to me.
Just make a rating.
Wow. I'll give it a 6 out. If you're committed from first season to final season,
Yeah.
I
If you watched every
'cause the
episode in a
first season
row
is
in like 2 days.
the first season is a fucking like 10 out of 10. But altogether, I'll give it 6 out of 10. Um, Saying goodbye to your ghostly, phony dad who represents your id. So I don't know why your id would disappear.
With a little flamboyant neck nod.
Yeah, neck nod. And you?
I'm gonna give this whole show an 8 out of 10. Um, blowing up an angry black man in a cabin.
But it was so funny because this episode I just wanted to do it 1 minute and just say it sucked, and then like make it the shortest episode of the Hardy.
I don't think it
ever.
sucked. I don't know.
I think it's just sad.
I mean, I know a lot of people aren't gonna like it, but I kind of like it.
I mean, I don't have to watch it. I never have to watch Dexter ever again. I have to go watch Sleepy Hollow.
I won't have at least that ulcer feeling every time I have to watch it now.
Oh, really? What would you have an ulcer feeling for?
Because it gets me so nervous.
Really?
Like I'm always
This
like, oh,
show?
what's gonna happen? God.
Wait till you see Breaking Bad. That's gonna give you.
I've already,
a fucking
and everybody, I
fit.
just watched the first season of it, and
Oh God.
already hooked.
One of the last, the second to last, no, the third to last episode made me physically sick watching it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, do you have any final words on that? Like my final words is
My final word on Dexter.
No, not yet, not yet. But I'm saying your final thoughts on the whole season and the series itself, and what you thought went right and what went wrong.
Oh, I mean, it's like all one big story about a guy that is completely numb, and then he like slowly like learns to be a human, and I guess it like bites him in the ass repeatedly.
Yeah,
And
Dexter is a character who's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, because he decides not to kill the guy, and that ends up killing his sister. So,
Right.
And then with Trinity, he takes his sweet time trying to kill Trinity, and that gets his wife killed. So it's a whole bunch of shit. Like it's just conveniently bad for him, even though he's pretty much an unfeeling character.
yeah.
The character himself, I'm fine with Dexter, the character himself. Like, I have no issues with his character, the way he is. Like, I think it's just the plots that he's being put in progressively through season. It's pretty shitty. I don't know, I'm going to read the new Dexter book just to wipe my memory off of this kind of thing
Okay.
that it's become.
But did you say the new Dexter books get supernatural or something weird?
No, Dexter. The books have always been supernatural. The third book on was like the Dark Passenger really was like a demon, an old demon that. Like,
So it's like Freddy Krueger.
they don't really. It sounds
It's
really
like
bad. when you explain
three
that.
dimensional horrible worms that float around. You have to look at them with
In
the funny glasses.
In the third Dexter book, because the best Dexter books aren't even as good as the best Dexter season. I mean, they're not, but they're better than the worst season. Like, if you want an alternate idea of what the show is, and even the comic book is alright. I mean, it feels like an episode of the show, kind of.
Okay.
For Marvel, it's like 5 issues. I've read, I think, the first 2, maybe the 3.
Cool.
And, it's... What was I going to say? The latest one is called Dexter's Final Cut, where they're making a film and a guy studying Dexter's forensic pathology stuff. So
Right.
maybe that'll be good. That just came out recently, and Jeff, whatever the fuck his name is, who writes the books, Jeff Lindsay, doesn't have to worry about the show shitting on his character, because he took great offense at some of the changes of what they did with his character. But I'm like, no, listen, the books ain't fucking gold. Believe me, if you read the books,
He took great offense, but I'm sure he kept collecting his checks.
I guess Deborah has like a prominent mole on her face, and she's really bustier, and she has dark hair as opposed to how he is in the show. That's what I'd rather like in the comic
I
book
like
at least.
Deb. Jeez.
I like Deb too, yeah. But I don't know. It's a show that regressed. Like, it's one of those shows where you see the great importance of what the showrunner did. Like, you can tell the difference between, even though I like the 7th season, the first 4 seasons was Clyde Phillips is the guy's name. From the first one through Trinity Killer, that's the guy who did those first 4 seasons.
Okay.
And they changed the showrunner from 5 to 8. And you can see when they brought in Lumen and they brought in the fucking religious guy. And I was fine with Isaac Circle. That was a great fucking bad guy, and they got rid of him cheaply. And whatever this season was with Oscar, whatever his name is. What was his name? Oscar what?
Oscar Wilde.
No, that's what I was gonna say too. What was his name?
Hey, I'm blanking.
Holy moly, guacamole. Anyway, so yeah, it's a regressive show, and it turned kind of poorly. And then they had Vince Masuka and his daughter, and it went nowhere. And
I wish that they did something with them, but they're gonna have a spin-off. It's gonna be Angel's Time Machine, and Vince and his daughter will be the sidekicks, and they'll be like, the daughter will be like, "So Angel, tell me about 1873," and he'll be like, "Well, you see."
Well, you gotta do his voice because he kind of has the Hispano accent, and then.
Well, you're the one that would master that.
I can't even think about it.
It's in your blood. Come on.
They show his penis in that show Oz. So if you want to see his mini Batista,
I've seen.
Oliver Saxon, that was his name.
He's a really bad guy in that show.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So anyway, your ideas on the whole season and the series?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I said what I got to say. I like the show overall.
Like myself, I'll say watch first 4 seasons and season 7, and if you have to, the last episode of season 8. That's it. So with that, Danny, what is the final? This is it. This is it for Dexter. Unless they make a shitty movie, this is it for us ever talking about Dexter. Like, done.
Spin off about a time traveling.
I almost want to banish even mentioning it in other episodes. Like just completely edit it out. But this is the finale of us ever talking about Dexter. So what is your what's the word that can encapsulate your whole deal with this show and going, did you Netflix
road rage.
Denny, what's the final word?
Road rage.
The horror deconstruction.